G'day, guys. Welcome to Beyond the Finish Line, the podcast for runners of every pace, every distance, and every goal. It's episode 62. It is our favorite episode of the month. It's Listener Question Month. Listener Question Month, Georgia? What the? Let me do it. I'll do that one again.
Yeah, you also.
G'day, guys. Welcome to Beyond the Finish Line, the podcast for runners of every pace, every distance, and every goal. My name is Matt, aka Coach Matt. Joining me today, as always, Georgia. How you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm good, thank you, Coach Matt. What a day. I'm feeling really good. How are you today?
Mate, I'm fantastic. It's our favorite episode of the month. It's Listener Questions.
I know.
It is. Listener Questions? I've said that wrong. I said that wrong in the intro, and then I said it right, and then I doubted myself. So I did a Georgia, and we had to re-record the intro today, guys. So I'll
What's
hang
the
myself
lesson
out to
here,
dry.
Matt? Yeah, don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, don't doubt myself, and yeah, that's it. Just don't doubt myself. Just go for it.
Yes. Episode 62. It is our favorite episode. I love doing these. They're so much fun, and I love reading through everyone's questions because it's just so interesting what everyone asks. It really blows my mind.
I always find it interesting how, and I shouldn't, but I do, how similar everyone is. It's like everyone has the same question. Like everyone's got the same fear or whatever, the same insecurities, and you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter if you are a sub 3 hour marathon runner or you're running your first. You're like, they're all concerned about the same things.
Yeah, seriously. And there's no like unique experience out there anymore, is there? Like we all truly do have very similar fears and questions. And, even if we, even if we get, the question 5 or 6 times, like you just never know when someone's going to pick up an episode. So yeah, I'm excited to get through these.
It's funny you say that. I noticed something from last week's episode.
Yeah.
Everyone notices I say like the same things over and over again. Like I explain things the same way.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, I'll just change the analogy of the same spot and someone will go, oh, I understand it now. Even though I've said the exact same thing, the core principle's the same, but I just phrased it differently. So every time I get the same listener question a couple of months in a row, I try and rephrase it just so like it hit someone a little bit differently.
That's so true because, everyone's brains work so differently. So I like that you actually consciously think of a different way to say it.
Yeah,
That's
like
so
you
good.
with the dam, like that resonates with you. And then I've used that with other athletes, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" They're like, "There's what dam?" Like, I'm like, okay, we'll try something different.
Yeah, what are you actually on about? Whereas honestly, that's always stuck with me. The dam and the brick wall always stuck with me. There are some other ones out there that you say that I'm like, does that really make sense? But obviously it does.
Some people get it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. How's your week been? Give us your highs and lows.
I actually had a decent run on the weekend, which was the first time in maybe a month that I've felt somewhat fit. I'm 6 weeks out from UTA, got like a month of training left, and up until that weekend, I was actually contemplating pulling out because I didn't feel fit. And like Rigid Dig it broke my confidence. Like I really came out of that like a shell of a person. And this pretty much the last 10-ish days I've been contemplating pulling out, but I've talked myself into, if I get 2 weeks of good training in, I'll race. If I don't, then I'll have to reevaluate.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty intense race to not be 100% in it, right? It's a long way.
100 Ks long. Like if it was, and this isn't to discredit, but like if it was a marathon and like a trail marathon, I could probably just bullshit my way through it. If it was a road marathon, I wouldn't, but like trail marathon, I'd bullshit my way through it. But the 100K, like if you're not super fit, all of a sudden you're out there for 24, 28 hours, and it's just a long time to be unfit.
Yeah, it's a long time to just be out there not enjoying it too. And
especially if you know going into it, it's going to suck. It sucks so much worse versus like you just hitting the wall at 80 Ks. You're like, okay, like I got 20 Ks to go, I can deal with this. But like, if you go in feeling shit, it's a long day.
It is a long day. What was your run on the weekend that felt really good?
Just normal, like I actually ran like 60 Ks over the weekend. So I've ran 4 times, so just had like a good 30K run, and then we did a really good like it's called Mount Fork Road, so it's like 5Ks and 800 meters of elevation straight up. So like nearly triple Sydney Marathon in the space of 5Ks. And
you love mentioning that.
I do, because everyone thinks Sydney Marathon's a hilly marathon, and I'm just keep like putting it in perspective.
Yeah.
And then just a couple of shakeout runs, but just every run just felt like how it should at this point in prep. So it was just a little like confidence boost. Like, okay, like you had a couple of bad weekends. Like you're not as far off as what you think you are.
Yeah. It's actually not as bad as it is in your head. And I think that's always the case with a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah. And sometimes you just got to push through that little rough patch and then like get to the purple patch on the other side, so to speak.
How did you recover from Rigid Ditch, like mentally, physically? Was there anything you did after that?
Physically just was like back to normal training. Like, I was back training on the Monday and ran on the Saturday. Mentally, I think I've gone through enough endurance events now where it doesn't bother me. I can train feeling mentally broken. I can train feeling defeated. I can train feeling upset. I'm sort of at that point now where I just know it's going to be a shit session. I just got to get through it. And if I just stack enough sessions, like eventually the tide will turn. And that's what I just keep telling myself, like, one of these sessions will be good, but if you don't do the session, you will never get the good session. So I just keep telling myself, like, it's okay if it's bad. You just got to keep going through it. It's actually like a sales. I learnt this in sales. Like I did door-to-door sales for a little bit in London, and they're like, yeah, brutal. You got to the race is to get as many no's as possible, because the quicker you get through the no's, you'll get a yes. And I just sort of take that approach to training. I was like, just get through the shit sessions. Like the more shit sessions you stack, the good ones coming, the good ones coming, and then you get a good one, and then you get 2, and then 3, and then 4, and now like every run since Saturday, and I've run twice a day every day since Saturday, has been a good run. So I've stacked 6 good runs in the space of 3 days, and like I've already run just over 50Ks this week, so it's good.
Right. And so I guess you did also give yourself that timeline to be like, okay, I'll give myself an out if after 2 weeks I'm not enjoying it and I'm having shit sessions. You'll kind of give yourself that way to be like, okay, this is not the time to be trying to pretend to be fit.
Not enjoying it, the fitness. Like I can tell if I'm fit or not, even if I'm having a bad session.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to, especially when we start talking about ultra endurance events, I don't think you need to enjoy all of it. I think there's got to be a little bit of misery in the prep.
Yeah, I think so. But I feel like after a certain point, do you not have to go, I'm actually not enjoying this, so kind of what's the point? Like the point is to enjoy it and have fun, and that's why you do sport, right? Is to enjoy it. Is that not a factor that plays into you for you?
I think that's 2 different questions. If I am super fit and everything's going right and I'm not enjoying it, that's a very different to I'm not feeling fit and I'm just sooking because I'm not fit.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in preps where I've done all the training, I feel super fit, and I'm just like, I don't even want to do this race. This sucks. And like I've not done those events. But I don't think you have to be having fun during prep. It's good to have fun during prep, but I don't think it is a prerequisite.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I guess I totally understand what you're saying. It's so interesting to see your perspective on that sort of thing, because I think I would really struggle to keep going if I was really not enjoying it. I think I get it. Like I'm sure towards the end. Yeah, I'm sure towards the end of my sub 4, like I wasn't really enjoying it as much as I wanted to, but I had such a big goal that I was so excited for that helped to make it, enjoyable.
That's the other part of it. For sure. Like I would say I'm new to ultra running, especially the 100K distance, and it does not rank as high as Ironman. So, for me, like, I can be really, really miserable in an Ironman to get through it. For UTA, I just had this one sort of redemption goal, and like, I kind of looking at it as a means to an end until I finish my Ironman stuff. So, I can kind of suffer for a few more weeks, because then I know I don't have to do one for a while.
Fair enough. That's like, I get that. I do. It's just such a big.
It's a very multi-layered this prep. Yeah.
This prep has got a lot hanging on it.
Yeah, highs and lows. How's mum life, or soon to be mum life?
Highs and lows. I'll start with my highs. I had a wonderful weekend back home in Wagga. I always enjoy kind of going home, but I haven't been home since early December, I think. And so it was nice to be home and see all my family. It's the first time pretty much all of my family has seen me physically pregnant, which is really cool. Like
that must be wild because like you're showing a lot and like just comes straight and they're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's funny. I turned up to my dad's place and I had like low-rise jeans and like a white top that showed like a lot of my belly. And I'd been in town. I'd had coffee. I'd got groceries. Like, I don't care. Everyone in Sydney just wears their belly out. Like, no one gives a shit. But in Wagga, it's probably a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
And I got to Dad's and he's like, what are you wearing? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, don't you need like a top that covers your belly? And I was like, no. And Nick's like, no, this is what everyone does now. Like talking to my dad. This is the fashion. Yeah, like he's fully like backing me. God love him. And my dad was just like, oh, so you like went in town with your stomach out like that? And like he meant well, like he wasn't trying to shame me.
Your dad
or
and my
anything.
dad would get on like a house on fire.
He was just genuinely really confused. He was just like, oh, okay, is that what people are doing now? Like that's kind of cool. And, like bless him. But he's so funny. Like I was like, come on, Dad, touch my belly. And he's like, oh, no. So, but then like seeing my mum and she's like, oh my God, look at your belly. And she's like hugging me and kissing my belly and all that kind of stuff. So I love all that stuff. I had a little baby shower with just my family, which is really nice just because it saves them all having to come up to Sydney for a baby shower. It's such a long way for them. So, it was a really, really nice weekend. It's nice to kind of just spend some time with family, but I'm exhausted now. So that's fine. And then, low, no real low. I'm really enjoying movement and stuff like that. I guess last week I struggled a little bit with just my body image because I was just getting a lot of comments from people about how big I was, and just strangers being like, wow, you're huge, or like, wow, you must be ready to pop. And I'm like, oh, thanks, I've got 3 months to go. So that was hard because in 24 hours I had 3 separate people kind of say to me like, wow, you look huge. And like a random girl just being like, gosh, you're quite big, aren't you? And I was just like, fuck me, man. Like, just let me live. Like, I don't care if my friends and family say it because I know they say it with love, but it's when it's a stranger that I'm like, how do you know? Like, why is your normal and not my normal? So anyway, but that's fine. I got over it. I went to my favorite cafe, got my favorite raspberry toast and got a coffee and was like, all right, move on now.
Simple girl, simple needs. Hey?
Yeah, literally.
Well, you can't take the country out of the city, girl. Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, that's it for me. Nothing too exciting happening. I've just got a lot on my plate with work and TPP and baby stuff. So yeah, getting
Speaking
through
of
it
TPP, any endurance coaching that you need for 2026, park run, through to ultramarathon, sprint triathlon, through to the Ironman. Guys, hit us up. You come work with me, come work with Georgia. She runs community. Links in the description. How's that for a segue? Marketing
never
genius.
Ceased to amaze me how you managed to just slip that in there.
You got to take your opportunities. Georgia gets very mad at me, guys, and I gotta slide it in.
I'm like, we just can't hit them with too much, They know what we do. It's like we get 2 an episode, and I'm like, that's it. Sorry, guys, you're just gonna have to deal with it.
That's it.
But no, what were you going to say?
I was going to say like we don't set it up for as an ad. You know how they go just guys, just for 2 seconds, going to talk about this sponsor. I'm just like straight in, no pauses, and then back into conversation.
Absolutely no prep. We just like jump in there with something. No, there's definitely no like this episode is brought to you by. We tried that once and never again. Project.
It does fund it, yes. Link in description.
All right, well, we are 15 minutes in. Let's stop Matt from talking and actually get his coach's hat on for a second. We have a bunch of listener questions here for you guys. Hopefully you'll get something out of this. I'm sure you will. There's lots of really good ones in there. As always, I haven't run any of these by Matt. I've just taken all your questions, put them in a big doc, and I'm going to give them to Matt and he has to think of the answer on the spot. So
I like that. I think if you gave them to me before, I would talk too much.
Yeah,
I would
and
have
I
all
feel
these
like
dot points and I would sub segments, and yeah, it would be a nightmare.
this is also the best way I think that it's almost like you're answering someone's question that they're asking you in person because you don't get a chance to think about it really when someone's talking to you on a call or something. Well, all right. First question here is from Stacey. I've listened for quite a while and I know your opinions on the Runner app. However, I would love your take on Kipchoge's new running app. From what I can see, it emulates an AI running application. If you think it's the same or if you have a different opinion on this version, given his name and what your concerns are for the running community with this new app.
Haven't had a look at it at all. I'm pretty sure, given Kipchoge's sponsorship, because he's sponsored by Nike, they would be using some beefed up version of the Nike Runner app with some affiliation of his running crew and some of their like key workouts. So without seeing it, I can't imagine there is a huge difference in terms of like formatting and the way it's structured. I think the main complaint I get with Runner is like it's super aggressive on paces and intensity, whereas knowing how elites train, I have a feeling this will be more volume based and more time on feet versus intensity. Again, I could be completely wrong. This is just like going off what you're literally seeing me think through this in real time. Yeah, I probably can't comment anymore without looking at it, but I'd imagine it would be a bit more conservative and a bit more volume based and probably directed more towards the intermediate and above runner versus the absolute beginner. Don't know how they're marketing it, but that's what my gut would say.
Yeah, I feel very similar. I haven't really taken a look at it too much. My gut feeling was a bit like, well, if Kipchoge's putting his name to it, I feel like he wouldn't want a bad rep in the running space. But it's also like, if it's AI based, how do they get around it not just being like another runner?
That was my thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure like Nike would put a lot of money behind it. And like, obviously Nike has the Runner app or their version of Nike Run App Foundation. I'm sure it is just a beefed up, juicy version of that.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm looking now at the interface and it looks very similar to Runner. It's just kind of, it feels a bit more gamified. I don't know, it just looks a lot like Runner from what I can see. But yeah, I had someone the other day message me and say, do you have any other ideas on things that aren't Runner? Because first time running a marathon and it's got my marathon pace at like 5:10 per kilometer. And I was like, holy dooly, get off the app, please. Yeah, it says here, I'm just on this, it's called Kotcha. I think that's how you say it. It says the first thing that pops up is like, hi, we're your new AI running coaches and we work closely together with Eliud Kipchoge's team. The only human to run a marathon in under 2 hours. We took their training method and made it yours, whether you're running for your first mile or attempting your fastest marathon yet. This won't be training like you're used to. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know how relevant that is. Like, if you're running your first mile, 5K, 10K, like, how relevant is that to Kipchoge's training, right? Like, obviously it is just an AI agent, and they probably have taken some of their signature workouts and put them in there. I can't imagine. Maybe Nike's got a few different parameters that they've put in, or maybe Kipchoge's like said like, hey, like let's be more conservative with this because we know this is an issue with Runner and this is an issue with this other app. And obviously that's how apps get better, but I can't imagine like it's going to be night and day different. Like I imagine it'll be just 2 degrees to the left of whatever the next one is.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Runner, guys. And I think being such a new app, I'd be also worried that there's no real world experience that you can rely on. At least with Runner, you can make your own decision based off people's reviews and, videos and stuff online, whereas this is quite new. And yeah, yeah, I don't know. I just feel funny about it. Just the interface and stuff looks exactly like runner. I feel like they're just seen runner, seen that it's done really well, and just gone, let's just do the same thing and put Elliot's name to it. So be interesting to see what happens. Okay, cool. Next question is from Anna. It says, Matt, you always talk about never miss a Monday as a recovery run. But is running, even super easy, actually better for recovery than taking a full day's rest? Doesn't the impact still add tissue stress no matter how slow you go? I've always thought that taking actual time off running is best for recovery to come back fresh over just re-pushing your body. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've got obviously pretty hard and fast rules around this with my athletes because every single one of them do never miss a Monday. The amount, if you like, we put very, very strict rules on the intensity of never miss a Mondays. Some athletes, like depending on where they're at in a training block, like never miss a Monday is a walk or it's a cycle. It is more about getting your blood moving through your legs and just starting to remove the bio waste like that's left over from that long run on the weekend.
Yeah.
So you're able to then, most of our athletes then get the Tuesday off. They're able to fully recover, and then they're hitting Wednesday and Friday and then Sunday again with really, really high quality. So unless like the tissue stress, that's just like walking around is going to cause tissue stress. Like just living life causes tissue stress. So a very, very, if you are a conditioned athlete, and obviously this is very athlete dependent, like never miss a Mondays for us can go anywhere from 15 minutes up to sort of 60 to 75 minutes, depending where they're at in a block. It's super athlete dependent. So a 15-minute run, if you're a brand new athlete, like you're going to be fine. Like don't stress. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of our athletes have Tuesday off as a rest day. So
yeah. And I think, you've probably heard Matt say on the podcast before, guys, like athletes don't have days off. I think in that way, he's not saying like everyone is pushed to do every single day, but we all choose to do things on those days when we're not programmed running. Like, for example, you might
they'll be in the gym or whatever.
Yeah. So like, for example, my Monday was always never miss a Monday, and usually mine were an hour just because that's what Matt knew that I could handle. And then Tuesdays I was in the gym. Wednesdays I did an interval session. Thursdays I was in the gym. Friday I did a session like tempo normally. Saturdays was always just for me like a walk or something like that. And then Sundays was my long run. And so I never really thought, I need an entire day to sit on the couch and do nothing. If I did, I don't know, maybe on a Saturday I would kind of do that, but it never benefited me. I was never like, I feel so much better after doing nothing all day. I always felt kind of worse after just sitting around. My legs would feel a bit crap.
Yeah. And I don't know if this person is being coached or if it's just them being curious. But like if you're at a point where you've pushed yourself so hard that you need a rest day, I would be looking at your overall training load and intensity, and probably probably this again just an assumption, you're probably running too hard on most of your sessions, so your body's not getting the recovery in between. One thing that we're really, really big on is train, recover, and that's how we're able to stack those bricks over and over and over again. Versus you'll see a lot of athletes train really, really hard, probably overtrain and when I say overtrain, they just don't regulate intensity and volume. 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then they're like, I'm absolutely cooked. I need to take 3 days off. And you're like, well, we don't do that. Like we spend a lot of time monitoring intensity and fatigue levels with our athletes.
Cool. Well, hopefully that's helped, Anna, because I know sometimes it can be a bit confusing with the wording and stuff around, different sessions and like what you should and shouldn't be doing. I know it can be really tricky, especially with lots of info out there, but hopefully that's helped. Next question comes from Emily. Tips on fitting trail running into marathon prep. I'm doing UTA 22 and then Sydney Marathon later in the year.
Yeah. Big fan of this.
This is all Matt.
Step into my web. Cool. So I would argue that trail running is actually like a phenomenal benefactor to your Georgia right now is plugging in her laptop. She's abandoned the podcast. She's
My
gone.
laptop's dying.
I'm telling them, hey, you've abandoned, she can't hear me. So you guys are just hearing this, how she's abandoned you all. Cool. So trail running, I would say it is one of the great unused tools. And this is something I'm sort of learning about more and more as I am and going through these ultra runs and how it's benefiting my marathon running during Ironman and my cycling actually. But how I would do it is I would really try and incorporate your trail run as a recovery run. So I would move your long run, your marathon specific long run, to the Saturday or even the Friday, depending on schedule. And then I would be backing up for recovery run on the trails, or alternating big marathon week on the road and then trail run the following week where it's more focused on distance, because it doesn't take as much out of your legs running on the trail, hills up and down, walking the uphills. So I would, for the first scenario, I would do my marathon specific session, 20, 25, 30, 35 Ks, whatever it might be. And then I'm out there on the Saturday, 8, 10, 12 Ks, maybe towards the back end of prep. And just like, it's almost like my never miss a Monday, but it's on the trails and it's just absorbing a lot of impact. Running on tired legs, very, very good, very, very low risk of injury with the hills and the dirt. The second option, which I am probably going to use leading into Ironman Western Australia, is big marathon specific weekend where I might do my 3x7 Ks, my 4x5 Ks, those sorts of things one weekend. And then the next weekend, I might do the equivalent distance or a little bit further, but just cruising on the trails and just trying to get that volume in, even potentially stacking back-to-back longer trail runs on that weekend to get some volume in with less impact on my body. So maybe doing like 2 lots of 20 Ks or, a 25 and a 15 or something like that. So I actually think trail running is a phenomenal tool that I will be, for my athletes who have access to trails, I'm going to be incorporating it more over the next sort of 12 to 18 months as I sort of understand it a little bit more. But I think there is a lot of upside. I think you become a much stronger runner if you're doing a lot of trail running. I've noticed actually a huge benefit in my cycling. Leading into I'm in New Zealand, I basically did no cycling and all of my numbers went up, and the only thing I was doing was trail running. So stronger legs, faster turnover. I actually ran a PR half marathon of very, very little like road running prep. So I do think there's something just to be said for leg strength and turnover that the trails give you that you can't really find on the road.
It's so interesting because I wouldn't have known what to say there, but I feel like this is a really great example of how you can kind of plan out your year with races. I feel like Emily's really given herself a good chance to do both races really well and then continue
May into August, perfect.
Yeah, and then continue her trail running through her marathon prep to really help, like you just said, help with her marathon towards the end of the year. But she's not putting stress on her body trying to do them too close together. So I love that. And I feel like, she's really planned her year well.
Yep. She clearly listened to our planning episode.
Yeah. All right. Julia has asked, how do I breathe when I'm running? What's the best practice? Is it 2 out and 1 in, or what is it that you prefer to do?
My breathing changes based on how fast I'm running, obviously. When I'm running easy, I don't think about it at all. I'm just in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Same.
I probably try and keep that for as long as possible. When I get sort of above half marathon pace, I actually breathe on my cadence. So I go, and I don't know how I picked up that talent. I don't know if that's like how you're meant to do it. I don't know if that's like a thing, but that's just what I do. And I've only become conscious of that in like the last 12 months. I don't think there is like a best practice. Like in through your nose, out through your mouth is like scientifically the best way to get the most oxygen through your lungs and into your blood. Outside of that, it's just like the more you start breathing through your mouth, the less oxygen you're actually taking in. So they're probably like the only two sort of things I would keep in mind.
Yeah, I think I just do 3. If I'm on an easy run, I think it's around 3 in, 3 out if I'm really trying to focus on bringing my heart rate down. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like that's a bit of meditation as well, where you're like
Yep.
really focusing on your breath. But if I'm running faster, then I'm just like 2 in, 2 out, or if I'm just really concentrating on not dying. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, slow down the breathing, Georgia, slow down the breathing. I really have to focus on that sometimes. But yeah,
That's
sometimes it
a
can,
good point. I think if you're running fast and you lose control of your breath,
yeah,
it's game over. Like
yeah.
just even having I would literally just came from Run Squad and we were doing like 1 mile repeats and I was just like the whole time I was just like while I was running, just like as deep as I could take it, like deep as I could go through my nose and then like a long, slow exhale and just trying to keep it on that cadence.
Yeah.
Um, it really helps to be able to breathe when your foot hits the ground. I don't know why. I'm sure it has something to do with like the impact running through your lungs and stuff, but like there is something to be said for if you could time those things up. But yeah, just be very, very conscious of your breathing and like you will find a rhythm and then just stick to it.
Yeah, I find if my anxiety is really high on a run, like if I'm really
Mm.
stressing about a pace, that my breathing just intensifies so much.
Well, because
And
you're thinking about the pace, not your breathing.
yeah. Yeah. And then Nick has to be like, Georgia, focus on your breathing because I'm
Hmm.
I'm clearly just like
Yeah.
And I think it also depends on like if you're like me, like I can barely breathe through my nose at the best
Mm.
of times. So I've got to really force it in. And so sometimes I do that technique where you kind of breathe in a little bit and then you hold it for like half a second and then you breathe in again and you
Mm.
almost like try and really fill your lungs up. And I find sometimes that really helps me to calm down. But yeah, I think the breathing thing is just so personal for everyone. Just go out and test some, different things, Julia, that might actually help you and just see what works. I think there's no
Yeah.
real right or wrong.
Yeah. I think if you just go with like a subconsciously conscious thought about it, if you test it for a few weeks, you'll just pick it up. Like you just be like, okay, this is how I breathe.
Yeah, it becomes second nature after a
Yeah.
while, it I think when you think about it too much, it then becomes more stressful than anything.
Yeah, exactly that.
All right, one for you. Well, actually, this is kind of both of us, but Mel has asked, how do you know when you should invest in a running coach?
Um, so I always get this question.
We do get this a lot.
I would say like it's never too early to invest in a running coach.
Yeah.
With the caveat of what does that running coach specialize in? So like going to Kipchoge's coach, considering he's like at the top of the podcast, and being like, I want to run my first kilometer. That's kind of a wasted investment.
Yeah.
However, going to your local, I know not all run clubs are running coaches, but going to your local run club and hanging out with some people who know a little bit about running, like, yes, they're not an actual coach, but like they could coach you through running your first kilometer. So like finding out sort of where you're at in that spectrum. I would say, and we've spoken about this. I can't remember what the episode was, but we spoke about what an athlete is, and athlete has nothing to do with skill level. Athlete has to do with mindset, and it's how you conduct yourself. It is like I am focused on this goal, and I'm doing everything I can to achieve that goal. Like that is what we believe an athlete is. I would say when you're starting to switch to that mindset where you're like, okay, I want to take my running a little bit more seriously. I do park run or whatever, wherever I'm at. And like, now I'm going to take it to the next level. Now I want to get better. I want to actively get better. I want to do nutrition. I want to have structured training. That is when that is the right time for a coach. When you are at the point where you can take your running, and seriously doesn't mean your whole life revolves around it, but take to the
No.
point where like you want to be structured, you want to get better, you have a goal you're working towards, and you can take on feedback to get better at that goal. So many athletes come to me and like, yeah, I want to run a coach. And then you give them feedback and they're like, no, I'm not doing that. And you're like, okay, well, this relationship isn't going to work. And like I hate saying the word get rid of, but like we ask a lot of athletes to leave TPP, like who don't take on feedback and like want to get better. They're just like there to get the programming and do their thing. So yeah, I would say that's my main one. When that mindset starts to switch of like, I actively want to get better at this, whether that is 5K, ultramarathon, sprint triathlon, through to Ironman. Link is in the description. Yes. I was waiting to see if Georgia carried on that. When you start to like actively decide that I want to get better at this and I want the support to get better, that is the right time.
Yeah, and I think like when you, as Matt said, like if you can take on feedback, I think that's really important. Like when I first started, I really struggled with feedback. You did not like it at all. I thought it was a bit like a shot at me at being I'm shit at this, but I think when you let go of your ego as well and you're happy to have someone really help you at the end of the day, that is the reason why you're doing it. There's just so many different factors. Like, it's also, can you afford to have a running coach? Is that something that, you're happy to invest in? Maybe you've stopped going out on the weekend. So you're like, okay, well, I probably would have spent X amount on a weekend out with my friends and I'm not doing that anymore. So I have a little bit of extra income to put towards something I'm really passionate about. I think that's something really important that you probably need to think about as well. And I think as Matt said, it's all about whether you have that mindset of wanting to improve. And I think finding the right coach is a little bit like dating. You do have to make sure that you guys get along, compatible, that you like their coaching style, because every coach has a different style. For example, like Matt is more straight to the point, and I really enjoyed that with my sub-4 training, that I really needed someone to be like that, or I wasn't going to get through my training. I probably would have slacked off quite a lot. I enjoyed having someone who could really tell me, no, come on, you can do it. You're being silly. Like, just pull your head in, get out there, get the session done. You've got this. Whereas now I'm in the season of my life where I've got Anthony who's coaching me, our other coach. And, it's a little bit more like, yeah, like that's awesome. What do you feel like doing this week? Like, it's a little bit more lax. Like, that's the kind of coaching style I need at the moment. And then if, maybe postpartum I come back and I've got an aggressive goal, I would jump straight back to Matt and be like, all right, let's go. Like, get back into that aggressive mindset. So not that Matt's aggressive, but like my aggressive mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing.
It's a great point. And like, I even say that now when we do athlete consults, I'm like, no bullshit. Like, because everyone thinks they want the no bullshit approach until they get the no bullshit approach. And they're like, oh, this was a mistake. So we've had quite a few, and I don't want this to put people off, but we've had quite a few athletes come through in the last 3 or 4 months, be like, yeah, I want to work with you, Matt. Like, I love the no bullshit approach. And they get 2 or 3 weeks in and I'm like, the fuck's this missed session? Like, what are we doing? And they're like, this is a bit hard. And I was like, okay, like, we have Anthony, like, we love Anthony, but like, he is definitely, he's the lovey-dovey guy, and I am the, I'm the bad person. So a good cop, bad cop.
If you want to see what he's like, jump across to the Performance Project Instagram and you can actually watch a couple of the clips from his doco that's coming out soon from his Ironman. And so you can really get a feel of what he's like as a person.
His personality comes a lot across great on camera. Like, you really get a vibe for like, he's happy, go lucky, like very like water off a duck's back, where I am very like, you can feel my tenseness when I talk on camera.
And some people, like, I know some people have messaged me in the past, and I've told Matt this, where they're just like, I can't crack Matt. Like, I can't get him to be soft. And I'm like, why are we forcing something that's not going to happen? Like, you either like that style or you don't. So you either just want that or you want someone who is a little bit softer, like Anthony is. All right, guys. Sorry, we've had a couple of technical difficulties. It's quite late and the internet is just not playing ball, but that is absolutely fine. So hopefully the last little bit made sense for you guys. Next question here has come from Stacey Lee. It says, top tips for improving your 5K. I know you guys are endurance, but I'd love to hear Matt's take on it, as it's something that I'm thinking of working on, but I'm not sure. Also, if I'm just base building, can your 5K improve from that, or will it stay the same?
So this is, can't remember which, it was in the last couple of weeks where we spoke about like, how to work with a coach. Like, don't just come for your race block, come for the 16, 20 weeks before and actually do the base building. When we talk about base building is your endurance potential, right? So we're talking about how quickly you could potentially build your endurance out. And one of the biggest prerequisites for that is 5K VO2 threshold markers. So when we do a base building block, what is the primary focus of a base building block? What is the goal we are trying to achieve? Georgia, any ideas?
So I was reading the next question. What is the goal?
I can see your eyes like darting at the dock.
I was just like, shit, how many questions do we have left? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. What is the primary focus of a base building block?
To improve our endurance, right?
That would be a race block.
I don't know, Matt. It's too late for this. Stop asking me questions.
Okay, so the primary focus of a base building block is we are trying to improve our aerobic capacity. So that obviously that means you knew that, G. That is our body's ability to absorb oxygen and use it efficiently.
Yeah.
For us to do that, we need to increase our top end. So that's our VO2 max and our threshold. So we're trying to move that zone 4, zone 5 up and to the right. If we are able to successfully move zone 4 and zone 5 up and to the right, Georgia, what metric is directly linked to VO2?
What do you mean, what time? The 5K, like 30 minutes?
5K time, yeah. 5K
yeah,
time.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm waiting for the trick question. I was like, shit. Yeah, I was going to say, this is like one of the primary things we test when we're doing a base building block is our 5K. Yeah, for sure.
So 5K is like, it's technically a 30-minute, but the majority of the amateur athletes sort of fall in that 20 to 30-minute window, 35-minute window. So 5K is also applicable. But if you do a successful base building block, you should see the most progress in your 5K. Like that should be the absolute marker that we're testing. Everything else, you wouldn't have done enough endurance to really move it. You would see improvements, but it would get like by an order of magnitude, like less and less and less because the top end is less relevant as you get further down. Base building block would be the only thing that you're doing to test a 5K. What was the other part of the question?
She just wanted some top tips for improving her 5K.
Yeah, so a good amount of aerobic work, so zone 2, and that VO2 work. So if you're a beginner to amateur runner, we're looking at probably 3 VO2 sessions over a 2-week cycle. And so it's sort of 6 a month. And ideally, I'll just give you guys like my signature 5K block. So it's 10 by 1, 10 by 2, 10 by 3, 10 by 4, 10 by 500 off 30, 45, 60, 75, 90 seconds rest. Then we go to 6 by 700, 7 by 700, 8 by 600, and 5 by 1K. For advanced runners, you can go 3 by a mile and 2 by 2K, 1 by 1K. All of those are off 60 seconds rest, and do that over a 12-week block and your 5K will improve.
I love that. I love how quickly you can rattle that off. Does anyone else?
I've written it once or twice.
Does anyone else just go like, holy moly, like I'm trying to keep up with what you're saying, let alone the fact that you're actually saying it. But I'm going to get you to definitely message me that, and we'll pop it in either the show notes or we'll pop it.
Or just come to TPP Coaching. Links in the bio.
More so for those of us who might not be quite ready for coaching, I think we can give them a little bit of a 5K improvement, seeing as you just said it on the pod. So
I don't know how many times I've said that on the pod. That would have been a few.
I know, a few. There's an episode on improving your 5K.
Listen to that one, Stacey. That's I go into I break down that 5K a little bit more detail.
Yeah, it's a really good one, Stacey. So definitely check that out. It wasn't too long ago either, so I'm sure Matt will say very similar things. All right, next question comes from Mick. It says, heel strike versus ball of the foot. Is there a correct technique for distance running?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but I thought it was an interesting question to ask.
The only like biomechanically, we are designed to land on the ball of our foot because it works as a shock absorber with the knee and the hip. But the way shoes are designed now, they've done a whole bunch of studies, and there is like no, one isn't faster, one isn't more efficient, one doesn't cause less injuries. It's just however you land. So, yeah, there's no positive or negative.
Cool. Easy one. Nice and quick. I think this one will be nice and quick too, but I thought it was a very interesting question that Amy has submitted this afternoon. So she said, okay, very random question. It's always a good start. How much does the surface you're running on matter? I've noticed that when I'm running on the sidewalk, some of it's concrete, some's paved brick, some is tile, and I'm not actually running on tarmac unless I'm in an event. Does this matter? And I've noticed a lot of elites run on the road, but I also run on grass. So I just want to know whether or not the surface matters if you're, training for a race.
No, like, I don't know, less than 0.1%, like, would make a difference, especially the beginner and amateur. Like, unless if you're maybe like a Boston level runner, I'd be like, okay, like let's try and use a couple of different surfaces and try and get some consistency. And even then, that's just me being nitpicky for like maybe some slightly better runners. I would say it counts, less than 0.1%. Unless you're going from like road to gravel to 10 kilometers of grass paddock to like, unless it's like super road, but if hard concrete like surface, you're fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the sidewalk's just as hard as what bitumen is. So it wouldn't really make too much of a difference. Although I do know, like in the past, obviously, if I'm coming back from injury, a lot of the time my physio will say to me, like, please run on the grass for a couple of weeks, just with like absorbing impact.
Yeah, very different, but yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be the only reason why you would need to do that purposely, would be coming back from an injury.
And the only other like description, like thing I will give athletes to maybe get 1 or 2% of it is like, I will make them do speed workouts on like a grass track, not wearing carbon shoes, and it's just like that might be 1% different. Like, it just feels harder and slower than when they get on the road and they've got carbons on it. Like, even if it's just psychological, it does give them that. Like, I did it with Georgia for sub 4. Like, even if it is just psychological, it feels significantly different.
Yeah. I agree. But I think maybe we're just overthinking a little bit. Amy, don't stress too much. You're getting out there, getting your sessions done. That's what matters.
Consistency over everything else.
Yes. All right, we have 2 more questions. Emma has said, love the podcast. I've noticed that if I run in the afternoon, I feel way faster and stronger. But if I run in the morning, my pace is awful and my heart rate is high. Does that mean I should only train at certain times of the day, or is it better to suck it up and adapt to both?
No, all this is central nervous system priming. So when we first wake up, central nervous system hasn't fired. It takes a little bit to get going. This is why if you look at Olympic weightlifting, it is held generally in the Olympics between sort of midday and 4 p.m. If you look at every world record that has been set pretty much across every weightlifting sport, and even some of the track and field and swim sports in the Olympics, the later in the day it is, the higher, until about 7 or 8, when the central nervous system starts to come down. They're all in that window, sort of 12 to 7. That's when you're at your absolute prime. That is just when that's when your central nervous system is firing on all cylinders before it starts to wind down for sleep. So super normal to be a bit sluggish in the morning, and super normal to have really, really good performances in that sweet spot of time as well.
That's so interesting. I had no idea, because I feel like I would be the complete opposite. That like the afternoons I'd really struggle, but the mornings I'm so fresh. But like, how come that? I don't feel like that applies.
It's mostly like conditioning as well. Like, you have trained your body to do that. If you are don't have, you're a very routine person, Georgia. Like, you run on like you've got where you need to be at whatever time. Your body does become conditioned to that.
Okay.
there is also the argument that your body just knows how to suck it up. And then, like, I would say after you run, there is probably another dip and then it bounces back up.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't run on like the type of schedule that you do, and it's like maybe a bit all over the shop, and you constantly train, like when was the last time you trained in the afternoon? Like, I don't think you trained in the afternoon once in the 2.5 years I coached you.
No.
Like, so
No.
like you just run on that thing. So the fact that Emma is alternating different training times too, like your body might not necessarily know when you're going to train. Central nervous system does run on like a primer. So if you train at 6 a.m. every Monday, it knows it's 6 a.m. on Monday. Like, it knows it's time to go. So there is that element of it as well.
Would you recommend that if, you struggle with one and not the other, that you just stick to the one that you really enjoy and that you find you're performing best at? Or do you think it's good to do both?
I think people are overthinking it. I think you should just train. If you can train in the morning, train. If you train in the afternoon, train. Like, if it feels shit, it feels shit. If it feels good, it feels good. Just keep stacking bricks.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, it's a valid way to put it. You just well, you're getting it done. That's what matters. Which I feel like, as I was just saying,
most races are in the morning, so.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the big things why I always trained in the morning, was because I've never done a race in the afternoon. Although I did do Nike After Dark, and that was a struggle because it was the afternoon and I felt like the day went on forever. And then trying to run a half marathon in the evening, never again.
Yep.
Horrible. Anyway, I really recommend doing it, guys. Fun race. It's coming up in September. All right, last question. Kate has said, hey guys, I've started running with my partner and it's actually been really fun, but he needs to keep... Sorry, like my brain's not working. But he needs to constantly stop every 2K and it drives me insane. Is stopping like that bad for training, or is it totally fine and I'm just being a pain in the ass?
Depends why he's stopping. Is he like out of breath? Is he like a little bit more context would be needed? If you guys are just going out for a cruisy like zone 2 run, unless he is like a really, really fresh runner and 2Ks is a considerable distance for him, chances are he's like just running too hard. If he's stopping, or if he's stopping because like 2Ks is a long distance and maybe he's like, oh my God, I've run 2Ks, like I just need to fucking reset. I guess that like that's fine. Like we've all been there. We're at kilometers a long way, and 2Ks and 3Ks and 5Ks. Yeah, I'd say for any other, if it's any reason other than that, he's probably like my brain just goes to he's running too hard. Like if you're tired after 2Ks and you're not chances are if he's tired after 2Ks, he is a beginner runner. So I'm just saying he's just running too hard. I would encourage what was her name? The girlfriend?
Oh God, I just totally blanked. Emma. I was like, it's not Emily. We just had Emily.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Kate.
Emma was
the one. Sorry.
Emma was on 4. Sorry. Cool. Kate, since you're a Beyond the Finish Line listener, what I would encourage you to do is take control of the situation. Like, we're going to run slower. Or we're going to run easier. We're going to use the right terminology. We're going to run easier, and you just hey, you're just going to run, like, we're just going to slow this down. And it's like, I think you're running in the wrong zone, and just slow him down 30 seconds per kilometer and just see what happens.
Yeah.
After 2K, see where he's at.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like you would want the same, Kate, if like the roles were reversed, you'd kind of want someone
so often it is reversed.
Yeah, and I think reversed.
Guys, it is past my bedtime. It's 8:58 and
reversed.
And Georgia is making me record a PM, by the way, not AM. PM.
It's payback for you asking me random fucking questions throughout the podcast, stressing me out. No, I feel like, look, if the roles were reversed, you would want someone to slow down for you. I think if you had a really big goal and you had to be out there like doing sessions and nailing sessions, you're probably not going to get any benefit from training with your partner who is at a completely different level to you. Like Nick and I definitely, we had to at some point be like, okay, you're trying to run like a sub 3:30 and I'm trying to run a sub 4. Like that's two different goals. We need to do our sessions apart. But if you guys are going out for a cruisy run together, the whole point is to run together. So I think you're not being a pain in the ass, but I think you just need to go, okay, well, the point of this is to run together and enjoy it. So as Matt said, slow it down, see what it is that he's actually needing when he wants to stop. Like, is it I need water? Is it this? Or is it just excuses? Like maybe he does need just a little bit of motivation to keep going a little bit further as well. So but that's it. That's all our questions for today. Anything you want to add, Matt?
No, I'm pretty good.
Pretty good. Matt's ready for bed, guys. So am I. This has been episode 62 of Beyond the Finish Line. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you head over to Instagram follow us at Beyond the Finish Line _pod. Head over to wherever you listen to your podcast and make sure you like, subscribe, download, leave us a review. That would be super, super helpful. And if you would like to be coached by Coach Matt or our lovely, friendly giant Anthony, make sure you head over to the performanceproject.com.au, submit an inquiry. You can have a meeting with Matt and have a chat about your goals. But for now, thanks so much for listening and we'll talk to you soon.
Hooroo.
Bye.